Hello, COPPA Compliant audience. I'm Title Pending. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, this might be my channel intro. I do the vlogs, video blogging about how I'm a terrible programmer, I'm becoming a better professional game developer, and how I use things like open source software like Blender and Godot to make games. That's what you're gonna get to watch here if you like this content. You get to see me try and make games and or get paid to make games and or make videos about the whole process that hopefully help you and inform you. That is the goal. I'm also, since hopefully as I'm making this video, I am a professional game developer. I am getting paid to make a game. Hopefully that will continue. And if it does or doesn't, I'm always looking for talent or people to work with. So that's there. If you want to break into the game industry and you've got the talent or skills, I will help you, because that is actually how I end up being a game developer professionally. All right, why am I making this video? This is to show that I am COPPA compliant. If you're not familiar with COPPA, I'm going to put a link to some really good videos. There's this video right here, no BS, very calm. I don't agree with all the points he says, but he's got some really good points. There's this one's really good. This is an attorney. He actually goes into a little bit more in depth about like YouTube and what the implications are for YouTube's new policy. And there's also, I'll also put a link to MatPat's video. Maybe I should put him here. I'll put a link to MatPat's video where he talks about more of the potential dangers of the COPPA compliancy going in January 1st. What's great about all these three videos is they have different sides and different bits of information you can take from them, and they also have different opinions, so that'll actually help you make your own opinion, which is why I'm also making this video for creators. And of course, I am in no way an attorney or legal expert, so because I'm not a legal expert or attorney, just take what I say with a grain of salt, right? I am not an expert in any way. In fact, you cannot ask me any questions related to COPPA regarding your business practices or you and your content, because that would leave me liable. So don't ask me any questions related to COPPA as far as my knowledge, so forth and so on. I can tell you where I get stuff. I'll give you links if you ever ask, but I myself will not give you direct advice on how you should handle your business and content. If you do really want to find somebody to help, there are paid attorneys here that specialize in game development. This IGDA stands for Independent Game Developers Association. They're a non-profit group based in North America. I myself have not paid my dues, but I've been able to ask legal questions here and or find experts willing to take my money and give me advice, and actually sort out. And this is a great set of qualified experts. I wouldn't show this Facebook group. If you don't have Facebook, you can check out the IGA Association's website itself, and you can try to find contact information to contact an attorney if you have more legal questions related to COPPA. Now, I do want to cover some of the stuff that I did get from these videos, and what's really interesting in this article, the company who cried general audience, Google and YouTube, to pay 107 million alleged COPPA violations. So under the COPPA law, which is brought up here, which is really cool, is that in the COPPA guidelines, this law that doesn't change until every 10 years, it basically broke down, there's this thing called general audience, that COPPA recognizes that you can create content that is not directed for kids, but it's directed for everybody, kind of like a Disney movie. A Disney movie isn't directly specific for kids or adults. It's kind of this weird 9 to 90 formula, kids from 9 to 90-year-olds that they're trying to get as far as an audience. In fact, that was one of the reasons why YouTube was pushing this whole family-friendly content, was the family being of all ages, 9 to 90, in my opinion, was this idea to actually, get as many type of viewers onto the website and to also stay, interesting enough, COPPA compliant. Thus this article, The Company Who Cried General Audience. If you don't know what it's referencing the short story called The Boy Who Cried Wolf, except this time it's Google who kind of lied about general audience. Now, what ended up happening is, what is the big, I don't want to say lie, in my opinion, based on what I've been reading, YouTube was basically, and what I've been watching too, of course, YouTube was basically catching children's content. They were taking kids not kids content, sorry. They were collecting information on kids. Whether accidentally or willingly, that's neither here nor there. But the whole point is that they were actually generally collecting information on children and passively collecting information on children. And by doing so, they were in violation of COPPA. And it was YouTube who was in violation of COPPA. Not necessarily any creators, but specifically YouTube. To YouTube's credit and Google's credit, they took the hit for all of us in the sense that they paid the $107 million for this, for the alleged COPPA violations. But in order, part of the settlement, they kind of did put the blame possibly on the users of their tools going forward, right? That's why we've got some new changes to the channels. I want to go through this really quick because I was trying to upload a video. So you've got this whole thing where your audience, you say, no, it's not made for kids, right? It's not made for kids specifically. My content isn't. It's made for, I would say, yeah, like people who are older, 13, 14, people into game development. That's older as far as I'm concerned, because I've tried to get my students who are 10 to try to make a game. It's pulling teeth and nails. They don't want to make anything. They just want to play the stuff. Anyway, I digress. I was the same way when I was younger. Do you want to restrict your video to an adult audience? The absolute most safest way to be COPPA compliant would be simply to hit yes. But I don't feel my content is so awful that it needs to be hidden behind an 18+ wall. So I know the risk I'm taking there. I'm leaving it out there on the internet, so forth and so on. Other things though that can help you be COPPA compliant, as far, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, other things that can help me, I should say, that I think, in my opinion, to be COPPA compliant, is just not monetize video content. By not taking any money, I should be not in violation related to some of the requirements under COPPA. The other thing I also want to add is I'm on the website itself and I'm looking through like their steps to make sure you're COPPA compliant, is that I want to state this right now. I am not going to collect any information from any child, and or in general, I kind of don't want to collect information on anyone who watches my content. There doesn't seem to be a need for it now. Maybe something in the future happens where there has to be information, but as far as I'm concerned, if you are of the right age to be using YouTube, please, you're a COPPA compliant audience member, put comments, likes, do all the stuff that you normally do. But I myself will not be surveying, I will not be using certain tools unless I specifically put in checks to make sure that a person's 18+ to legally give their information, so forth and so on. So that's just what I want to point out there, right? I'm going to be COPPA compliant as best as I can. So I'm following these. I should be following these guidelines. Everything should be good in the hood there. The other thing I do want to note is that, again, this idea of general audience was the saving grace under COPPA compliancy rules that Google was following. They said that basically creators were making content that was not targeted to children. Now, given that, you can look at what COPPA's COPPA Cabana. Is my kid's all crying in the background. I gotta take her out after this. You click on here, like, what is content made for kids? And in my opinion, the wording for the whole COPPA thing, it's kind of like, the funny thing is that they're not talking about, where is it here? Where is it? As a creator, what if my content is applicable to a wide audience? So they are recognizing that the general audience factor from COPPA is still in play. Like COPPA's ruling on general audience is still there. However, how YouTube interpreted this, based on what I've been getting, again, this is more of my opinion based on, like this video and the stuff I've been, and this article, right? Because I mean, I might be reflecting other people's biases. For reasons, maybe monetary, they didn't make this where we have a general audience button. They're basically making it either or. Is it for kids or is it for 13+, right? They're trying to be more clear about this because the way that they have done it before has kind of left the door open to some people that have been abusing the system, have been abusing the guidelines of what is kid directed, so forth and so on. We click on here, right? This is making things more clear. But really, you know, aside from this, it's better to go specifically into the policy itself. And like this video kind of points out, this video is great because it shows specifically in the law where they refer to general audiences. And why, again, that's good news, because if your content is not specifically for kids, you should be generally fine. The problem is that because of this wishy-washy nature that Google in turn used, which in turn, since Google used it, in turn certain creators abused the system. They basically, you know, were justifying all sorts of videos that were general audience when they were, I don't want to say clearly, but you know, it does look like they were really clearly set for kids. You know, I teach kids, I know what kid content looks like, and I get it. It was inappropriate content made for children under the guise of a general audience. I mean, again, that's opinion, that's speculation. There's art, there's content, but you kind of get a feeling that certain people kind of abuse this. You can see Matt Pat's video on this. He breaks it down, all the things that were questionable content that were legal, but were really pushing the boundaries, and eventually led to why parental groups kind of had to get involved and keep YouTube in check. So there it is. That's why their wording in here is a little weird. I mean, this is clear about your outside obligations under other laws, especially with the European Union coming into place. God, that's another YouTube bomb to tick off. But as far as this whole idea is that, like, is your video directed specifically towards children? I kind of can see here why it's written the way it is, because again, the company, like the creators, abuse this general audience rule or law within the COPPA policy, COPPA rules, COPPA law, Copacabana. I think that's enough said. So I think I've covered it all. Research it yourself. You can check out the videos. I have 3 videos again. They all have great information, and they have 3 different opinions and biases based on the thing, which I think is great to, you know, get you informed on it. I try to get away from the fear mongering, even though there's some, I'll admit it, there's some channels that fear monger that I like, but there should be no fear mongering in these videos. They just try to give their points, and they give a little bit of their biases, but they try to inform people on what's going on. Well, yeah, I'll leave it at that. You can watch the videos and then you can judge them for yourself. If you want to check out that playlist, I'll put links to it after this. So yeah, there you go. You can find the IGA Business Legal Special Interest Group. You can, you know what I mean? You can definitely check out the website. I'm pretty sure I'm 100% COPPA compliant. And if you want to, you can read this wonderful article that kind of breaks down kind of the abuses that Google was kind of maybe indirectly or accidentally or incidentally allowing because of the way that they were viewing the law and reading it themselves. Insert catchy phrase here. If you are of COPPA age, that's not even a real thing. I mean, that's kind of babble. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Put a comment, hit that like, do all that wonderful stuff. If you're not a COPPA compliant age, then get the heck off my channel. You shouldn't be here anyway. All right. Insert catchy phrase here. I'll see you all in the next one. I hope this has been informative to some people. I hope you made it through this whole thing. I'll press stop right now. Bye.